Good morning. The Secretary General will preview for you the meeting of NATO defense ministers, and then he'll be here to take your questions. Secretary General.
Good morning. Over the next 2 days, NATO defense ministers will meet to address key issues for the alliance, including what more NATO could do to build security and stability in the Middle East, our support for Afghanistan, and the challenge posed by Russia's missile systems. First, the Middle East and North Africa. Violence and instability in our southern neighborhood have caused suffering in the region, driving the refugee and migrant crisis, and also fueled the threat of terrorism. That is why NATO allies have been engaged for many years in the region and built close partnerships. The global coalition, NATO and our partners have made remarkable progress in the fight against ISIS. Millions of people have been liberated from oppression, and ISIS no longer controls any territory. But we can do more. Ministers will discuss the future of mission in Iraq, which trains and advises the Iraqi armed forces to help ensure ISIS cannot return. NATO fully respects the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq. That is why we are closely consulting with the Iraqi government as we look to the future. Allies will also discuss tomorrow how NATO can coordinate with the global coalition even more closely. And we will consider what more NATO can do in the wider region to build long-term stability and security. Training local forces is one of our best tools in the fight against terrorism. And NATO has tried and tested structures and procedures which bring added value. These ensure political consultation, transparency and oversight, and force generation. On Thursday, we will review NATO's response to the challenge posed by Russia's new missile systems. The development and the deployment of the SSC-8 missile led to the demise of the INF Treaty last year. NATO allies have stood united on Russia's breach of the treaty, because a treaty that is only respected by one side cannot defend us. We agreed on a balanced and coordinated package of defensive measures, at the same time restating our strong commitment to arms control and disarmament. The SSC-8 is just one challenge we face, so we will discuss our response to the whole range of Russian missile systems, conventional and nuclear, currently deployed or under development. We will conclude the ministerial by meeting with all nations contributing to our training mission in Afghanistan. Our research support mission is making a difference. Despite the challenging circumstances, the brave Afghan security forces are getting stronger, and they are helping create the conditions for peace. We fully support the efforts led by the United States to end the conflict and to achieve a peaceful solution. Allies are consulting closely on the way forward. The US Special Representative, Ambassador Esad, was recently here to discuss the latest developments. I expect ministers will address the peace process and how our research support mission can best support it. The Taliban must understand they cannot win on the battlefield. They must commit to a reduction in violence and show that they are genuinely committed to a peaceful future for Afghanistan. Defense ministers will also meet with their Ukrainian counterpart to review the country's reforms and NATO support. And we will also have a wide-ranging discussion on NATO-EU cooperation with our partners Finland and Sweden, which will also be the first opportunity to welcome High Representative Vice President Josep Borrell to a NATO ministerial meeting in his new position. With that, I'm ready to take your questions.